Cavehill in Belfast here. We're going to ask Colin a few questions, and then we're going to go and ride the new trail here at Cavehill. It's the first official trail, so we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, my name's Colin Ross. I'm nearly 40 years old now, so I'm a bit of an old dog. Been racing and riding bikes for the past 20 to 25 years, and it all started when I was about 11, 12 years old. Just had some wee trails beside us, and got into the sport, had some friends doing it, and yeah, straight away. I've always loved riding bikes as a kid, since I've been very young. When I got onto the off-road stuff and into the trees and the trails and jumps like that, just clicked straight away and loved it ever since.
You've won the Fox how many times? 5 times?
I've won it 4 times, yeah, and did the Fox duty for 1 year as well.
Yeah. And then also you've won the Masters downhill in 2018.
Yeah.
What is your favourite win? Would you say?
It's definitely got to be that Masters World. I mean, just because I was racing for so long, and was kind of coming to the end of my racing career, and you know, we decided to give that a really good shot in the over 30s class, and yeah, managed to pull that win off in Andorra. It was such a cool venue, and track was just insane, so it was a scary big track for me to race on, but to pull the win there was just awesome, and definitely tops all the other results for me.
Evidently then you're obviously a world-class rider. Coming from Northern Ireland, we don't get that many riders as such. There's only a couple, you know, you could name. Did you ever try to race in the World Cups, or were you always sort of a local sort of guy?
Yeah, I've always been more of a local guy, but like back in the early 2000s I did go out there and try it a bit. I had a couple of top 40 World Cup results, one in Fort William, one in Mont Saint Anne, and I only ever did maybe 2 or 3 races for 2 or 3 years there and tried it out. But I mean, people don't understand how high the level is out there and how tough it is, and I maybe didn't stick at it long enough with all the travelling and the cost of doing it, you know. But I gave it a shot then, and was happy enough with what I did. But fair play to all these young guys, you know, keep coming from this country now, and the level that they're doing is just insane, you know.
Do you think that your dad has played a good part in your successful career so far?
Yeah, I mean, my dad's probably the most competitive person I've ever met, so you know, he's definitely instilled that into me, because he's always wanted to compete against me, never mind help me. But yeah, he's been a massive role to play, and you know, in everything that I've done with racing. You know, he's just always there, and he's the kind of guy that if we're going to do this, we're going to do it right. So it's just the way that I've done it now, and having him, you know, by my side doing that, yeah, it's helped me out loads. So couldn't have done it without him.
You're probably the first rider I've ever seen their dad pushing their bike up to the top of the trail for them.
Yeah, so. I mean, if it didn't let him, he'd crack up at me. He's the kind of wee man that just needs to do something all the time. So yeah, but he's just there, whatever I need. If he thinks it'll make me a little bit better, he'll do it, no doubt.
Yeah,
you know.
Definitely. So there's no doubt about it. Your kids are extremely talented as well. There's a lot of guys, I'm sure, out there that, you know, the dream of having kids that are like Loic Bruni and all them sort of guys, top racers. Do you ever wish that? Would you push that against, or obviously not push, but would you try to direct your kids in that way?
No, I love it that my 2 boys are into bikes, and you know, you can see that they can ride really well and do that. But I'm definitely not going to push it. You know, I don't want to set them up to fail. I don't want to make it that it's the only thing in life that matters for them. You know, but I really want them to just enjoy the sport and do that. And if they can progress slowly and do well, I'll be there like my dad was for me, and help and support. But if they're not, it's just so cool that they're doing it, and you know, couldn't think of a better sport to be doing and having fun being outside. And but yeah, I'm more worried about them catching up with my speed, to be honest. So at the moment, I'm pretty happy to just keep the edge on them, you know.
And then whenever they win the Fox Hunt, so they need to win the Fox Hunt at least 4 times then now before they're...
That's never going to happen, because I'm never going to let them beat me.
Fair enough. So a big part of actually your life at the minute would be motocross, I would say.
Yeah.
So you're what category are you racing in at the minute?
I'm racing in the Irish over 35s then, in the vet class then, yeah.
Very good.
So
And Caleb then as well,
Caleb is where it all started then, you know, because mountain biking, you know, you can't really race until you're older. So we started him out 6 years old, racing in the autos 50s, and he's now up to 65s and won a wee Ulster Championship last year, and he's just doing awesome with that. So it's kind of really fun to do something that's really close, and I did a wee bit as a kid as well, and yeah, so that's a lot of fun, especially mixing up the two sports. The mountain biking and the motocross are quite similar, and two really cool sports to mix up together. So
it's a bit crazy that you can ride motocross when you're 6, but you can't ride a mountain bike down.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's so mental. This is his 4th year racing. He's still not old enough to race a mountain bike, but I think things are changing actually for next year, and see some of the clubs are maybe going to run things for a bit younger now, so maybe have him in a mountain bike race next year might be the first one. So
you are you're a mountain bike coach, probably known as one of the best in the country. What do you think puts you above the rest?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure everyone will say that I've coached, but yeah, I think I'm pretty good at getting things across. Probably the way that I help guys is, you know, I think I go through a lot of the struggles as well, you know, where some guys can just switch off and just ride things fast, but I would have probably been, you know, the most cautious rider out there and the last guy to hit, you know, big lines and jumps and things like that. So for me in my career, I've always had to break down things and figure out how to, you know, for technique, for lines, and do that. So it was always just naturally the way I help myself. So when I coach guys, it's just really me going through the process of what I had to go through and still go through. And I think, you know, it's just being patient with the learning process of doing that. So, but yeah, it's very easy for me to help. I remember even 12, 13 years old, you know, racing downhill, and it was just natural for me. I enjoyed going out riding with guys, and if we got the sections, I was always the guy or the kid wanting to help people and show them different techniques. And from since when I can remember, it's like I've just always been doing it, you know. But when I got older, I was like, well, maybe I can do this as a job. So I feel like I've been doing it my whole life.
So I think a lot of guys, you're touching there a bit, a lot of guys struggle with similar things on the bike. I think a big one probably is cornering speed.
Yeah.
Can you give any tips? You have free tips to everyone?
Yeah, well, probably the quickest tip we could share right now is a lot of people drop the foot too much, right? This is one thing I see. They just drop that pedal for every corner, and they get into a bad habit. It's kind of dropping that pedal, maybe give you a bit of comfort, you know, lower to the bike, you know, not as far away from the ground, and trying to get the weight distribution, but it's just so dangerous with the pedal catching on the ground. It's also not getting the weight distribution over the tires equally. So my tip would be try and keep them pedals level as much as possible. You know, keep a solid weight on both pedals so that you can try and spread your weight over both tires equally, and just adapt slightly for different corners.
You've obviously learnt a lot in your career. What would probably be the best tip someone's ever give you for a mountain?
That'd be a tough one. I mean, as a kid, I was obsessed with watching World Cups. Like, I had them recorded on videos back then, and I just watched them over and over and over again, you know, watching the top guys, Steve Peat, Nico Villiers, David Vasquez, all these legends back then, just watching even their different techniques, and I just loved trying to go out and mimic what them guys done. And that kind of was a thing that I just done all the time. I just watch them videos, watch their technique, go out to our local track and try and mimic them, you know. There probably wasn't too many guys back then. You know, the sport was very, very new, you know, worldwide, and especially over here. When I started, it had only just started. So the coaching tips you got maybe weren't great. My dad used to say go faster, so that was a good one.
That was a good one, definitely.
I actually started with racing cross country and wasn't interested in downhill in them first couple of years, so I used to team up with different clubs and train properly at a young age, and and even, you know, my dad was big into fitness as well, so he was helping me with that. So I feel like when I first came into downhill, I already was at a sort of really good level of fitness coming in, and straight away I noticed I can pedal faster than these guys. So that just gave me so much confidence knowing that I could do that. So when I wasn't as quick in some sections, I knew I was a stronger, faster pedaler. And so I feel like that just evolved as it progressed in my racing, and always just wanted to have the edge on people. And I feel like, yeah, it was definitely one of my strengths. So it wasn't just something you kind of just went, oh well, yeah, I'm slightly stronger in pedaling. I had to really work at it too, and I always wanted to just be best that I could. I mean, I started a teenager, I started working in a gym, doing spin classes and things like that, and alongside my racing, and then eventually, you know, going into running my own classes and, you know, being a personal trainer, whether it was at their houses or then evolving into the mountain bike coaching. So it's just been a real lifestyle for me, and I really do enjoy, you know, probably the most favourable thing for me coming up to a race is the training. And just knowing, you know, how much can I push myself, and, you know, what level can I get myself to, and just that process of getting to a race I really enjoy. So it's been definitely has been a key part for me. Probably not prepping properly for races, you know. Like I said, I give World Cups a go at a young age, but I mean, I was riding small tracks over here and then just turning up to the world stage and just like daunted by the tracks, the speed, the level. And if I look back, I'm like, I really should have been out, you know, going out to Europe, going even, you know, some of the big tracks in Scotland as well, and just making the effort to actually set myself up, you know. And that's my biggest tip to young fellas that I would coach and help out. You know, the World Cup racing is nothing like here in Ireland. The tracks aren't, the racing's not. So if you want to be a World Cup racer, you've got to go and train like a World Cup racer. So that'll be my biggest regret at that age, where I maybe could have done better. I didn't train and ride the proper tracks. So
that's great. I think we'll go and try out this new trail that the boys have made.
Looking forward to it.
That's good. Thank you very much.
Sweet.